Welcome, everyone. Today we have the honor to have Frank Montrose with us today. He's going to give us the hottest and most important tips as to what's happening in this market and how you can maximize your return and minimize your risk. So thank you for joining, Frank.
My pleasure. I love it. And how's everybody doing tonight? I hope everybody's doing great. We're still in a lot of uncertainty, and it's an exciting time. It's a lot of fun, a lot of great opportunities out there. You know, the one thing that I want to encourage everyone to have is a mindset where you're looking for the opportunities. This isn't like a a thing where you bet on red and you lose, or you lose everything you got, or excuse me. This is like today you may have to play red, and tomorrow you may have to play black. So the key is to constantly looking for opportunities and constantly shifting. And I've been in this business for almost 40 years now, and I've learned the longevity issue is to never keep one business model. So to break it down even more, there's going to be certain times where you're better off buying, and there's going to be certain times where you're better off selling. And there's certain times when you're better off doing both. So let me give an example right now. So people that I've got investors that have lots of rentals, hundreds of single family homes. So because the market pricing of the valuation is so strong, just crazy. I mean, everybody knows what I'm talking about. A lot of these investors are thinking, man, now is the time for me to sell my single families, especially in the city of Chicago, minimize the risk there and maximize my return. So a lot of investors, here's an opportunity. A lot of investors are, the second their client moves out, they can't move fast enough to refresh the property or remodel the property or just completely gut it out, depending on what kind of condition it's in. And so we're getting a lot of listings that way, and it's crazy because we're basically helping people that have had long-term rentals remove those rentals out of their portfolio and free up some cash so that they can either invest, and a lot of them are investing in flips right now because that market is hot. So yes, it is hot to buy wholesale properties and flip them, and also the rental games got interesting. And so the reason why the rental game is interesting is because there's not a lot for rent, just like there's not a lot for sale. So sellers or landlords rather can be very picky. They can make demands, and I think this is what we're going to see, like some of the shifts that you're going to see. Stay tuned, guys. But definitely there's going to be a tidal wave of evictions coming. So that's going to bring basically our next pandemic is going to be with tenants. So with people getting kicked out of apartments, people getting kicked out of their houses, where are they going to go? Now the problem is a lot of people were very short-sighted. So they think, I'll use this pandemic as an excuse to not pay my rent. The problem with that short-term thinking is what happens when they when the landlord gets the green light to throw them out. Then now they're out in the street. Where do they go? Why would a landlord take on someone who didn't pay for 16 months or 2 years, right? I mean, because you're going to be their next victim. So what I believe is for those people that have made bad choices during that time is that they're gonna get desperate, like home buyers are getting desperate now. What are home buyers doing? Home buyers, they're getting crazy, right? So they're bidding over list, way over list. And but not only are we getting multiple offers, but we're getting off. I just had an offer where a house closed for $75,000 over list, and the buyer brought in $70,000 in a cashier's check to make up the difference between the appraisal price and what he bought it for. So people are compromising, greatly compromising, because they want a home, and they want a home so badly now that they're willing to compromise that because they're getting the home at a ridiculous interest rate. You know, they're getting the rate. You know, in the long run, the rate stays low, your payment stays low. You're able to pay off your house at a much cheaper amount. So people are taking that into consideration when they're overbidding. People are just taking into consideration the scarcity of inventory, and they want a home. So compromise will be coming in the area. We're going to have the same thing with evictions. People are like, where do I go? What do I do? How will somebody rent to me again? You know, because I stuck this landlord. I think you're going to see some extremities in, you know, people putting up securities. I think people are going to get aggressive. We may see somebody saying, "I'll put down 6 months, maybe even a year if they have the money." That, you know, they may have to do that to rebuild up their confidence with landlords, because what's going to happen is we're still going to be in a situation where there's going to be a lack of inventory. So people are going to have to find a place to stay, and they're going to have to compromise. I think you're going to see a lot of people moving back in with their families. I think you'll see people moving in with friends, sharing houses. I think there's going to be some interesting extreme situations, just like there is now. There's extreme situations. People are overpaying for properties. Buyers are waiving their home inspection. Buyers are waiving the appraisal. So if the appraisal comes in low, they have to make up the difference, and they're doing it. I don't know where all these people came with cash. I've never seen them in my life. You know, all of a sudden they're out, you know, in full force. Just a quick, you know, just a simple, quick history lesson. Again, you know, the important things that you need to look at are your seller population, your buyer population, and affordability. So sellers, buyers, affordability. You know, just if you keep it that simple and you pay attention to those moving parts, you're going to be ahead of the game. You're going to be a lot wiser. You're going to make a lot smarter decisions. I mean, really, anything and everything in life is all about making smart decisions. And you can't make smart decisions unless you're well-read and you're knowledgeable in the area. One guy that I love to follow is Barry Habib, Habib. He's on Facebook. He's wonderful. In my eyes, he's the smartest guy, or one of the top, probably the top three, arguably the top three, arguably the smartest guy in the mortgage industry. He's a household name among loan officers, and in that industry, he rules. So if you want to get a good pulse on what's going on, he's a good guy to start. I listen to quite a few different people. If I were to tell you to listen to one guy, I would say listen to him. He's also got a Facebook page, MBS Highway, and that's where they do a lot of interviews on that page. Is really cool, and he does a lot of market updates on that page. So you know, you always take everything with a grain of salt, because you know everything is predictive, and you know it's based on the market, how the market shifts. Even though sometimes it looks like it's going to zig, it may zag a little bit. So he's fairly effective. He's not always accurate. It's like the weatherman. He can't always be accurate, but he's pretty. You know, he's got a pretty good track record. He's got the strongest track record out of anybody. Barry Habib. Educate yourself. You know, now's the time to wake up. If you're going to be in this for the long run, if you're on your way out the door, you're selling your inventory and you're heading to Naples to check out, then maybe this podcast is not for you. But if you're going to be in this thing for the long run, guys and girls, you need to you need to educate. You need to stay educated. You need to stay on the pulse of the market. Your seller population, your buyer population, and your affordability are the three major things. I mean, I look at a lot of moving parts. Those are the three key parts. If you don't have inventory, if you don't have buyers, and you don't have affordability, you're going to have a very, very bad market. And we look back at 2006, where we had a very bad market from 2006 to 2010 because we had a very low population market because 33 years prior, Roe v. Wade was passed. And I mentioned this in the previous podcast, and I'm just going to touch on it. And that was making abortion legal. And so 33 years later, that's your average age of your home buyer, of your first-time home buyer. And that market, that's why the market was low for 4 years, because from 73 to 77, we had much significantly lower population. So there are less people in the market, hence we had a bubble. That was not the only factor, but that was the major factor that nobody really talks about because nobody looks at that number. Now, fast forward today, we've got a good bubble. Where did all these buyers come from? They came from 1988 to 1991. They all grown up now, ladies and gentlemen, and they're going to be around for about 3 to 4 years. So this madness, this buyer madness, is here to stay. So when you're thinking about opportunity, keep in mind, if you think, oh man, should I still buy that flip? Yes, because the buyers will still be here. Now, going back to the big three, sellers, buyers, affordability, the thing you need to watch is you need to watch affordability. And the thing you need to watch is right now is inflation, because inflation is running out of control. When inflation gets too high, the government, actually I'm shocked that the government hasn't done anything yet. The government steps in and slows inflation down by raising interest rates. And so, they have made a pledge not to do anything through 2023. So that, and the fact that they're buying mortgage-backed securities, they're buying mortgages, the pressure, the rates to stay down is great for us, but with inflation going crazy like it is, something has to give eventually. So I don't think that interest rates are going to remain this low for that long. So opportunity, if you're a home buyer, yes, now is the time to buy with certainty. Will the rates go up? Probably. The feds have kept the interest rates at 0. So if they have to lower the rates to stimulate the economy, where are they going? They're going to give you money and pay you for it? I don't think the bank's money. I don't think so. So they have to eventually raise the market, because when the next shift comes, then they're going to have to lower the rates to re-stimulate the economy. So back to buyer base, seller base, affordability. So right now, the interest rates are what's the main factor for driving up the prices. Just a quick example, and I went into it more in detail in other podcasts. If your interest rate's 2.5 and your mortgage amount is $200,000, you're looking at a principal and interest of $798. So roughly $800, right, for your principal and interest. Then you got to add on your taxes and insurance. Okay, so if you take 8%, which I've seen interest rates many times at 8% over the 40 years that I've been in the business, then your mortgage doubles, guys. So that is extremely game-changing when it comes to how now your buyer pool may be there, right? But is it really there? So the buyer pool is dramatically affected by affordability, because now all of a sudden somebody can afford a $200,000 house. Now they may only be able to afford a $100,000 house or $110,000 house or $120,000 house, depending on what their taxes are. So you see how complicated this is, and you need to follow people that know the business. You need to partner up or work with someone that knows what they're doing, someone like myself. It's very, very important that you align yourself with an expert. Everybody watches HGV. They watch the Twins. They watch the cute couple down in Texas. All these, the Viva Las Vegas crazy couple, all these people, and they make it look so fun and so crazy and so simple. They don't show you half of what's going on. In fact, they're not complete. Here's a shocker. They're not completely honest with you. I've had people call me and tell me, that house that they said sold, you see that last episode? I'm like, yep. So the house that they said sold is still for sale. So they're just pushing your buttons for ratings. So turn off your HDTV if that's your source of intelligence, for your intelligent thinking. You're in the wrong place. You need to talk to people like myself who are in the industry, who are on the streets, who have a pulse on the street, and they're actively doing. There's one thing to be book smart or to be HDTV smart, and it's another thing to be reality smart, to be out in the field and doing it. You want to be dealing with people like myself that know what's going on and know the predictability of what is going to happen, what is likely going to happen. We're not always right, but we're daggone right most of the time. And especially with the major thing, maybe not on an everyday basis, it's harder to guess what like the interest rates will do. Much more difficult on a daily basis. But when it comes to the big market shifts, I've always been spot on because I studied this stuff. So if anybody, if you're an investor, you're looking to partner up, feel free to give me a call at 708-307-0777. Love to introduce you to somebody on the team to help you and mentor you guys and help you become great investors and intelligent investors, because you want to be able to understand. You want to know the how to do it, but you also need to know the why, because you want to be able to know ahead of time. Oh yeah, this is what Frank's talking about. I better call him now and get these 3 rentals on the market. Now that the market's hot, now's the time to sell. Once you become a student of this business, you're going to automatically know and anticipate changes based on market shifts, because that's what this is. This isn't you don't have to be a Rhodes Scholar, graduate from Oxford or Harvard. Actually, most of those people that I know, some of the that are my friends, they're not any smarter than I am. So, but it's cool to say you're from Harvard because everybody thinks you're intellectual. So they got that going for them, which is nice, by the way. I will admit that's nice. So let's talk a little bit more about shop. So it's getting harder and harder to find inventory, right? I mean, MLS, you make a bid on a property, you're bidding against 30 to 40 people. I guess you probably could get one every once in a while, but then again, I like mobile restrooms. MLS, sure, it's an option, but you've got a 1 out of 40 chance of getting the property. So, a lot of people are bidding aggressively. A lot of people don't know what they're doing. A lot of people are getting misinformation. So, I'm gonna, we're getting back. You know what it's all about now? It ain't about the high tech, the shiny, the Ferraris, we got this program and this automation and this, all that stuff's out the window, baby. It's going back to your roots. It's all about hardcore. That's where we're getting we're getting inventory, off-market inventory every day, and we're doing it the old-fashioned way, baby. So it all goes back to what worked before we got automated, before we got the internet, before we got all these tools. Now it's back to one-on-one. It's back to you go into a grocery store, you're talking to someone. You go into a coffee shop, you go into a cigar bar, you're talking to someone. You're on a golf course, you're talking to someone. You're asking them. You're networking. You're finding out, are there any opportunities? And you do it, of course, obviously in an artful way. Networking is back, guys, and it's back. Everybody understands, oh, I got to go back to the old ways now. Yeah, and guess what? It works. Guess what else? If you get a haircut outside of your house, your barber or hairstylist needs to be promoting you. If you don't operate on yourself and you got a doctor, you've got a nurse, you've got everybody needs to know who you are, what you do, what you bring to the table. They're there to help you. So you need to network. You need to take advantage of all of your vendors, everybody you use, your insurance agent, your car dealer, everyone. You need to call up and touch bases on a regular basis and just let them know, hey, I'm in the market to buy right now. I will snatch up any property, any condition. Keep me in mind if you see anybody out there, brother. And guess what? I'm going to turn around. I'm going to keep referring people to you. So it's a two-way street. You let them know. You come in empty-handed, and it's different. But you go to your vendors and you say, hey, man, I'm just to let you know I'm out there. I'm giving you a lot of love, and I'm asking for. I need your help as well too. Networking. Hey, you know what? Everybody's got a cell phone, right? What do you got on your cell phone? Telephone numbers. That's your database. You need to be calling your cell phone up now, just talking to people. Even if it's 5 a day, call 5 people a day and let them know that you're looking for properties. If they know anybody, to please refer them. And oh yeah, by the way, if they had to think about it, can you think of anybody right now that's interested in buying, selling, or investing in real estate? See how simple that was? I mean, if I'm having a conversation with someone, and right at the end, I'm like, hey, Charlie, by the way, if you had to think about it, see, when I say that, I have a pause, I disarm them. Can you think of anybody right now that might be interested in buying, selling, or investing in real estate? That works like a charm. What I love to do is use it with waitresses in restaurants, because I'm sitting around and, you can tell I've got kind of a crazy personality. So I just start joking around with them, and then I use that line, and they have no idea what's coming at them. And you know what? A lot of them say, yeah, you know what? That waitress right there, her and her husband are looking for a home right now. It's wild how this system works. If you don't ask, you don't get. You ask, you have a chance to get, man. So you know what? It's back to old school stuff, guys. So, will the technology come back? Of course. Are the auctions working right now? Some of them are. So they're not. Nothing's back full totally. You can chase. You can buy the pre-foreclosure list, the estate list, probate list. You can buy all those lists and door knock and skip search. That's another way that we're getting properties as well too. So a lot of it is just old school stuff, guys. There's nothing fancy about it. Just old school hard grind. If you have a full-time job or you just don't want to do this, you hire someone like me to do the work and my team to do that, because that's what we do, and we're designed, we're wired, we're created to do this. We are doing our thing, ladies and gentlemen. You may not like doing what I just mentioned. We do. We love it. It's our passion, man. I love talking to people. I love mixing it up, man. I love asking people if I can bring value to them. And I love helping people. So, yeah, I mean, that's what it's all about. There is no, if you're looking for a sugar-coated answer today, there is none. It's just getting more and more difficult. And you know what? Life has been way too easy in the past. And that's part of the reason why we have these problems today. is because we sugarcoated this thing called life, and now this is the new reality. You know, this is the new normal right now, and it's the people that work hard are the people that are going to get it done. You know, we've lived in this millennial BS where, you know, there's entitlement BS, and it ain't about that. It's about hard work, and it's about lining yourself up with people that work hard and work smart. You know, the other thing too is, you know, I was told June 1st was the day they're going to open up the courts. Now that's in question because now I've seen the governor's talking about August 1st. They're talking about the end of June. So, you know, we've got the government involved in this. We got the federal government, we got the local government, we've got state government, and we've got government, you know, in the villages and the cities and stuff. So it's a tricky scenario. I kind of the thing I'm hearing is sometime in the summer. So this, yeah. I mean, I don't know how we got these guys in office. Shame on us. But yeah. So just stay tuned. That's an unknown. That's something that you need to follow, because the sooner those courts get in, the faster these evictions and these properties will be back in the market. So that'll be good news for us. But even when that still comes on the market, then we're still looking at what, you know, a year before it really gets any traction. So if this thing in August, so if you're just sitting back saying, hey, I don't want to, you know, do all this, I'm just going to wait for the courts to open up, the evictions get done, the foreclosure go back in the MLS and the auctions. You know, we're looking probably for a year before we get some real traction. So if you are relying on real estate to keep your lights on, then you better find other ways to get properties, off market ways to get properties. That's the new normal, guys. It's time to wake up and try, and time to either, if you don't want to do it, then find somebody that can do it, and find somebody that's proficient to do it, and partner up with them to whatever degree that you can. So, wow, what do we do? Oh, hey, I got somebody else's picture on right now. So anyways, let's see, what else? There is some for you landlords out there. IDA has started their rental assistance. So that is in full bloom. One of the problems with that, though, is read the fine detail. And the fine detail is that you are, even though you accept the rental assistance, you're going to have to keep them, allow them to stay in for a while as well, too. So I haven't yet got to the details, but it isn't all that good. Interesting thing, I think one of the shifts in the market you're going to see is you're going to see a lot of opportunities in 2 to 4 flats, because a lot of these landlords are going to lose their properties, and it's the small mom and pops, right? So the bigger guys are going to be able to absorb the losses, but it's the firemen, the policeman, the school teacher that bought the property hoping to make some additional income, that's getting their ass handed to them because their tenant's not paying for it. They're going to get evicted. The tenant's going to stay in there. They're going to have to evict the tenant. Those properties, I believe, are going to be in the next big opportunity for the pandemic, is the 2 to 4 units. That whole rental deal, and if what you need to start to, if you're going to play it in the city of Chicago, you're going to have to become proficient with the CHA and with Section 8. Because if you want to do this thing in the city, if you want to play in the city, that's the way to go moving forward. I think the government's going to have a bigger role with rentals, especially our state will have a much huger role. What else? That's interesting. Oh yeah. I'm going to close on this one, Hugo. I think what's interesting is when you get an extreme shift like this, and you have a huge buyer pool, and it's going to be like this for a while. Areas that were stuck are coming back. Harvey, Englewood, areas like that you're starting to see changes. There's a property. Here's a perfect example. There's a property of 5740 South Green, brick 2 flat, just a average rehab, just okay rehab. It closed for $285,000. Now, I haven't seen anything over there for years over 200,000. There's a property on Everhart in it, and the exact address escapes me. I think it's 6229. It's in West Woodlawn, and that property just closed for $445,000. So you're going to see that's a massive shift, guys. You're going to see massive shifts in some price points in some areas. There's another one. So here's another example. Is 92nd in Wallace. It's a brick ranch. Nothing sold for like over 240. Property just closed for 290. There's another bunch of properties in West Washington Heights and Avalon Park that are like within a year they've gone up 100 grand. So there's shifts in the underserved areas. They're underinflated areas are catching up. Are catching up through this pandemic. That's one of the bright sides. Now, from a seller's point of view and a buyer's point of view, so buyers are compromising their values. So some buyers will say, "Hey, look, I'm not going to move into this area. I'm not going to pay that amount of money." A lot of that's out the window. So there's a lot of people that have changed their scope of buying, have changed the areas that they're willing to live in. So that's why some of these areas are coming back, because now buyers are taking a chance and they're moving in areas because the area that they want, they can't find anything. They've been looking for a year, and they're like they have, they're buyer, or they're exhausted, and so rather than giving up, they've decided to adjust their buying criteria so that they can find something now, or they're going from a single family to a 2 flat, or from a 2 flat for a single. They're looking for anything to get in. So that's the interesting interesting thing is you need to start looking as a seller at other areas as well too. Areas that you wouldn't be caught dead in. You're going to start looking at and saying, "Wow, I could sell a 2 flat in Englewood for almost $300,000. Holy smokes!" So it's an interesting time. Stay tuned. Keep your eyes on what the interest rates are going to do based on what inflation's doing. And if you need any help, feel free to call me. I'm at 708-307-0777. Floor is open for questions. Hugo?
Hey, Frank, what would you recommend people to focus on right now? Are there any particular markets that you recommend? What's your advice, especially for people who are starting in real estate?
Wow, that's a tough one. The reason why it's so tough, it's so hard to because of the variables like the courts being shut down. You almost have to go more so not so. There's the extremity of the markets are not there as like before. It'd be, oh, nobody buys in Harvey. Oh, nobody buys, Rose, and nobody, now that's softening up. Now is like people. So, I mean, hey, there's still some of the, the tried and true areas. If you're going to go on the south side, you go to Pill Hill, Beverly, Hyde Park, Woodlawn, Bronzeville, Washington Heights, Morgan Park. I mean, there's areas that, excuse me, Chatham. There's areas that will always be good, no matter what happens to the market. Suburbs, South Holland, Oak Lawn. I mean, there's just so many. Bridgeview. I mean, it's just endless, man. I mean, I could sit here for a half hour and just rattle off what's good. There's really not, because of the lack of inventory. You have to shift your thinking, and you're not really thinking anymore. What area is good? What you're thinking now is this an opportunity, and is this area strong? Because as I mentioned from the beginning, this market's here through 2023, and then you're going to see a massive shift, a massive correction. So right now, you can buy with confidence, knowing that if there's going to be any kind of shift, it'll be in the interest rate, and it won't be a catastrophic. So there'll be many shifts before too, but I predict the end of 2023 there'll be a huge price correction. So the other thing too, Hugo, is people say, well, should I buy now? And my question is, how long are you going to keep the house? Of course, if you buy now and you want to sell in 2024, you're probably going to have a problem. But if you're going to buy now and hold for an extended period of time, you're going to be okay. But make no mistake, there will be a shift coming, and the prices will go down. Because when the rates go up, baby, the payment goes up, and so people can afford less. So for sellers to get rid of their homes, they're going to have to lower the price. I mean, it's common sense economics, and that I've seen played over and over for 39 years. So it's nothing new. It's not even a prediction. It's a reality that's going to happen eventually. So, you have to look at it differently. I would say it's a great question, but I would also say that question has altered because this market is so unusual, it's so extreme, it's so different. Do you have to just look at it now? Is this an opportunity? Because almost everywhere, it's not even where to buy, it's where not to buy. So areas like Ford Heights and Robbins, those are still tough to move areas. Very difficult to move areas. So just the extreme areas like that, I would say stay out of. Otherwise, everything is fair game. What else?
What would it take to make an offer that stands out, Frank? If it's whether it's MLS or especially MLS, how do you give credibility to the offer so that it gets accepted?
So the first thing you want to do is when you go look at a house, you're gonna, even if you're not gonna make an offer, you're gonna tell you're gonna say to the call listing, hey, I got a hot guy, he's gonna make an offer. And then if he doesn't, then you call him back right away so you don't lose credibility. We changed our mind. I really believe he was gonna make an offer. So, but at least you're in the game in case he has. What if you're going to the house and he gets 5 offers in, and he calls the seller up, and then you're 2 hours away. You want to shoot up a warning shot to the agent. I'm on my way over there now. Do you have any contracts? Don't sign anything because I'm cash or whatever, or I'm a pre-approved. This guy's been in business. This guy's as good as cash because he's been buying from me for 20 years, and we know our numbers. We're not. Here's what a lot of these wholesalers are, REO brokers are saying. You know what? I just want cash. You want to know why? Because most people don't know what they're doing. Excuse me. Most people do not know what they're doing. They don't know how to number right. So when the appraisal comes, the appraiser says, you're 30 grand off on your work. This is not a deal. So these REO brokers are just like, dude, no, give me cash. So if you're not a cash buyer, you need to let the seller know, the agent know, the seller's agent know. You have to provide credibility. Like fortunately, if you came in with me, I would explain. Like I got a deal today. I actually beat a cash buyer out today on an off-market property because the guy knows who I am, and I talked about my credibility. And you can beat a cash buyer if you're higher and you have credibility to close. But if you don't have credibility to close, they're going to take the cash deal now. Because most of these agents don't. They're so it's a pandemic. There's certain people that come in there and they make offers before they even look at the properties, and these these I see on some of these listings now, they're saying don't send an offer until you look. They're so fed up with those, these people writing an offer before they look at it. And I'm not talking about anybody. I mean, a lot of people are doing that now. A lot of people will write the offer. I'm like, dude, who are you? I've never even heard of you before. And why did you write this offer? How did you get in? We haven't got in yet. I said, well, then this offer doesn't mean anything. You need to look at the property. So you want to make sure that if you haven't seen the property yet and you write an offer, you let them know that, and you be honest with them and say, hey, look, we're on our way over there right now. I just want to make sure we got our offer in, and I'm based on the pictures, I'm sure, but I will call you to validate the offer. And you need to, communication is everything. Communication, honesty, respect is everything. You want to build a relationship with the agents. If you dodge the agent, hide, and walk away from the deal, then you have shut the door on any future business. So you want to keep in constant communication with the guy. You need to if you wanted the bigger the down payment you have, the better. I mean, I've had investors put the entire amount up for a down payment. So I mean, if you're cash, I got a deal right now where the guy put $50,000 down for the earnest money. So I mean, those obviously speed to close. If you're a cash buyer and you need 45 days, chances are and you're coming to me on one of my listings, I'm going to know you're probably not a cash buyer. What I'm going to think of right away. So you want to make sure that your offer is realistic, and you don't want to say, well, I just put that in there in case anything happened. No, you lose credibility. Everything's done to build credibility, and you want to maximize you want to maximize your chances of getting the offer. And you know what the best thing to do? The best thing to do is is ask this question: what is the seller looking for? It's not always the highest offer, guys. You listen and find out what they want, because maybe it is just strictly dollars and cents. Maybe they just want a cash offer, and then that's your chance to say, hey, look, I know we're not a cash offer. However, I've had 20 closings with this guy last year, and we've ran our numbers. Our numbers are well within the parameters. I've ran it by the appraiser. I've dealt with this appraiser at this hard money bank. As a matter of fact, I even the one case that I talked about today, as I said, I even placed this appraiser in this hard money lender. So you need to make a list. If you're a hard money buyer, you need to make a list of why how you can beat a cash buyer, and you need to talk to your hard money guy, and you need to have them quote you a short close. Well, here's the other problem too: you have to be able to close within the month. That's a big deal. A lot of these lenders, these banks, they get half of their income is based on the numbers of properties that they close within the month. So if you're able to close, obviously if it's on the 25th or 26th of the month, probably cash buyer can't even close then, unless you shotgun the title and all that, and you get, you do a quick deal. Typically, a cash deal can, we've closed deals on the same day with the soft title pull. When the title's already been pulled and we just did a soft update, typically you want at least a week to close with it on a cash transaction. So you come in, if you're a cash buyer, you close, you throw up that 7 days, you throw up a high earnest money figure, at least 5,000, 10,000. That's premium. You obviously have to show that you have enough equity to close the deal, or if you're, here's the other thing too, if you have a line of credit, and it's not based on appraisal, you need to make them aware of that this is a signature loan. It's not. It's excuse me. A couple of cigars last night, and I'm feeling it. So you need to let them know that that your line is not based on appraisals, because the biggest issue right now is appraisal rejection, and the prices are going so high. Banks are, a lot of these banks are conservative, and they won't actually give you the number that they think it's worth, just in case, because that's the way they roll. So yeah, those are things you need to look for. Anything else?
What's your best negotiating strategy to get deals accepted when you don't have a cash buyer client?
Okay, well, I did cover most. So if I'm not a cash buyer, I would go and talk about the strength of my buyer. And if you're a finance buyer, you want to create some strength. If you can have a written quote from your contractor on the cost of the rehab, that provides credibility. If you can have a comp supporting ARV, the more data that you are able to present, the higher your probability of getting it approved. And if you've done transactions before, your realtor can write an email explaining how many transactions you've successfully closed, how many transactions you did not close. So hopefully that answer is 0. And then your realtor needs to write an email stating that the reason why we've closed 100% is because we provide this information as we're doing now. We're showing you exactly what the cost is to rehab the property and why we're going to get the loan. And these numbers have been written by my lender. And then you have the lender call him directly too. And the lender says, listen, I've reviewed these numbers. We've used these numbers from this contractor before to support the process of the deal. This is a done deal. We just need the contract and the appraisal run out and do his due diligence. We already have all the numbers in place. We have the comps which have been looked at. I mean, if you can get the appraiser to do a quick look and support that, and have the loan officer call up and say, look, I know we're not a cash deal, but this is as good as a cash deal, and we're going to make, what's your highest cash offer? Okay, so they're $5,000 lower. We're going to make your guy $5,000 more. Now, we're not, when is the closing date? Okay, so they're going to be able to close 10 days faster than we. Is $5,000 worth 10 days to your client? That's how I would present it. And you've got a sure thing here. This is as sure as cash. You've already talked to the loan officer. They've already confirmed our comps are accurate and that our cost of rehab is accurate. We have the equivalent of a cash deal, guys, at $5,000 more to your client. Now, do you want to look like a rock star and get that extra $5,000, or what are we going to do here? Does this make sense? And you put it in writing, and then I tell the listing agent, now please take this information and share it with your client. I'll be willing to get online with your client, and so will my lender be willing to get online with the client to reassure them that they're making the right deal today, and they're going to get more money going through us than they would through the cash deal. So those are things that I recommend that you do. It's a lot of work, but when you go into cash, the problem is this. You may be, I may be talking to an audience right now of great people. Great. You're all great people. You got great clients. But guess what? The bridges have been burned by those that aren't. The bridges have been burned by some of these and there's some of our local companies that have come in and slapped deals together and hope they get done. These loan officers don't know what they're doing. These hard money lenders don't know what they're doing. And the numbers come in lower, then they come in and they want to renegotiate the deals, and it just doesn't work. That in this environment, that's not going to work. You're going to permanently burn a bridge. Well, now these REO brokers are so fed up with the bad guys that we, the good guys, have to pay the price. So you have to be extraordinary, is what you have to do when you're providing a lender deal. So it's a lot of work, and you got to move quickly to get all that in. But it's powerful stuff, guys. What else?
Frank, do you think that we're in a more of a flipping market versus the cash flow? Do you think that strategy is more palatable to the time that we're in right now?
Well, so I'll answer your question this way. This is James. I think I saw James. Okay. So James, it's a strong flipping market because values are going up. Okay, and they will continue to go up. And each market, if you ask me which markets, each market's different. So based on the median income for each area will determine when it's going to hit the ceiling. So that's one thing. And then the second thing is from a rental point of view. Obviously, the city of Chicago is a question mark because of the government. So if you're going to play in the city of Chicago, there's only one way to do it. You play with the Govy. You go CHA Section 8, and it's a wrap. You don't need to, that takes care of a lot of these tenants that take advantage of you because the governor's given them an opportunity. So, the shift now is you'll see the more and more CHA and Section 8 tenants getting priority. So when they once, in the past, they were the black sheep. Now they the white sheep. So yes, sir. I mean, now everybody used to laugh at my buddy Jerry Cott because my buddy Jared had all these Section 8 tenants, and they're like, oh, you're crazy, and this, and now they're saying, oh man, I wish I would have done what you did, Jared. Now he's the one that's laughing. So yeah, city of Chicago, the shift is to go Section 8 CHA. Suburbs, hey, it's clearly a renter's market. A landlord's market. You've got a lack of inventory in both markets, so both markets are highly strong. A sell market, rental market, you can't. Man, it's hotter than hot right now. I mean, you can create your own demands. I mean, rents are. Obviously, the city of Chicago is a different. The Loop, the high density area in the Loop is a different, whole different animal. But outside of the Loop, I mean, it's all good. It's all good, James.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
Sure. Who else? Questions?
Hi, I have a question.
Sure.
Do you see anything, do you foresee anything going back into the city, downtown Chicago, the condos, being a tough market?
Well, I know people
are migrating. Yeah, I'm sorry. I know people are migrating to the surrounded areas of the downtown Chicago, not specifically in the city. Do you see anything going back into once the pandemic is over with?
100%. 100%. So I was having this conversation today, and so with a friend of mine that lives downtown, I said, now, one thing's for sure is that commercial space is permanently changed because a lot of my buddies that have space down there are saying we don't need this space anymore, or we only need a fraction of it. So commercial space is going to be interesting. But ask yourself this question: why did anybody move downtown? Did they move downtown to be near commercial, or did they move downtown to be near the lake, to be near the museums, to be near incredible shopping, amazing restaurants? Well, that, I think I answered your question. So as everything comes back, and the missing element down there is the crime. So if they keep the crime under control, the more they do, the faster downtown. Well, downtown is definitely coming back. So there's there's no doubt in my mind. It's already making a move back. It's already bustling now, and there's some shift in values in the right direction. It still has a long ways to go, and the commercial is going to hurt it a little bit. But at the end of the day, when people wake up and everybody realizes, I don't care if Sears Tower is full or empty. What do I care? My restaurant's still open. My favorite bar is still open. All that stuff. The reason why I moved down here, everything is back to normal. When that stuff gets back to normal, yes, you will see values return to. I think what's happening now is like everything that I've heard is like around the $500,000 market is starting to get back, and when you get up into the multi-million-dollar price points, that market's still hurting. The 5 million plus market is still at a standstill. But when you get into under $1 million, that I've talked to some agents today downtown, and they all said that they're starting to see some action there. So that's really cool. And I really think that this pandemic, which has nothing to do with real estate, but has affected the commercial market, high density commercial market. That'll be interesting to see how that space turns out, how the commercial high density, what that turns into, what they use that for. But yeah, to answer your question, to make a long story long, yeah, that'll be back. Anyone else?
I did have a question. Can you hear me, Frank?
Yes, I can.
How you doing? This is Alex. But in terms of the, and you may have answered it, and I came in a little bit late. But in terms of the off market, is that booming?
Oh yeah. I mean, we get off market every day. So my whole team is just focused. When this pandemic shifted, I already knew. I switched everything to off market. Everything went off market, brother. And that's the new normal. And when the courts open up and everything goes back to leave it to Beaver, everything's all back to normal and stuff. Yeah, that's going to take a while. So I knew that when the pandemic. I've been in the business for 39 years. I'm a student of the game. Follow this stuff carefully. I already knew the second that happened. I'm on the phone. Everything's off market. So everything,
Gotcha.
It's old school. It's just it's going back to old school, brother. It's going back to relationships, working relationships, and getting business that way.
Appreciate you. Thank you.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it. And if you have any further questions too, I'm going to be still on for a few more minutes. Feel free to call me. My cell number is 708-307-0777. I'm easily caught early in the morning. I'm up at 4:30, and anytime before like 7:30 or even let's say 7 to 7:30 is good to catch me, and or in the evening. During the day, I am extremely busy, and it's better to text me. That's at 708-307-0777. All right. What else? Did we solve all the world problems, or anyone else out there have more stuff we need to tackle? Feel free to talk.
Hey, Frank, how you doing? This is Jesse Arenas, bud.
Hey, what's up, buddy? I know.
Not much. Here, just listening. Great webinar, by the way. But quick question about, you've covered a lot. Appreciate that. But what's your intake, your opinion about property taxes in the next year or so? I know the fluctuation in, the prices, has been here. We're taking advantage of that nice ride. And since we're always in arrears with property taxes, what do you see forthcoming about that, and what's the best way to handle that?
That's a great question. I'm sorry, buddy. Sorry. I'm my mind's racing. Sorry about that.
No, I was just going to say. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No. Go ahead. Sorry. What were you going to say?
No, I was just going to say a little input about make sure you invite me next time to the cigar bar, because you got me jealous there for a second.
You got it. Done deal, brother. You're on my hit list. I got you. So, it's inflation and taxes, especially taxes in the city of Chicago, are a huge question mark. Is where's the money going to come from to support everything? Because now with with what the government's done with the pandemic, and people realize that they don't need the space, and the tenants aren't paying at a lot of these buildings. Millions and millions and millions of dollars are not coming into the city of Chicago. So that is a whole, Jesse, that's a great point. That's a whole nother Jerry Springer episode. So where are they going to come up with the money? I mean, raising property tax is one way to do it.
Yeah, the scary part, right? We're always trailing in the government, the property taxes. So, we got to, come in and prepare for that. And I know recently, of course, what I've been doing is as soon as you acquire anything, you begin the appeal process immediately, right away. But as you've been preaching all throughout the webinar, is you buy right, and I couldn't agree with you anymore about, off market, which is the way to go right now, because it's pretty doggy dog out there.
Yeah, it's crazy, isn't it? You're right on, brother. Thanks for chiming in, pal.
Yeah, thanks a lot, man. See you soon.
You got it, buddy. What else? Anyone else have any questions, thoughts, comments?
Frank, hi. This is Jessica again. I do have another question. As far as your contacts or your connections, are you mainly focusing in the Cook County area, or you're all over the place, all over Illinois?
Well, so we're not all over Illinois, but we are outside of Cook County. So we're DePage, Lake. We're in a few Will County. So we're in the surrounding counties. We're not downstate or anything like that. What, Jessica? What area are you looking for?
Well, I was trying to see if maybe Will County, or DePage County. I wanted to kind of look into those areas. Yeah,
we could have a conversation later if you want to follow up.
Excellent. I'm sorry, you said your phone number 708-307?
Yes, 0777, yeah.
Excellent, thank you.
Right, if you have a block, just dial 7. You're running out, you figure, just keep dialing 7s. Everybody always says, man, you got a lot of 7s in your phone number. So cool.
There's another question by Nick. What is the latest word on when the foreclosure courts are going to open up full speed?
Well, so the latest one was June 1st, but then, the governor wants to extend it to August 1st. And then there's other government forces that are want to extend it till June 30th. So, it's so frustrating with these guys because they're so anti-landlord. It's nuts. And at some point in time during the summer, it's going to happen. It's not carved in stone because you have so many different governments, entities that are changing the dates. So you got the feds, the state and local. So there is no. I'd love to tell you June 1st, and that's what I was saying all along. But I did say when I said that, I said pay attention to what the feds, and what Pritzker does, and so we'll see what happens when June 1st rolls around, and then we'll see what if it's not then June 30th, not then August 1. That should be with sometime within that parameter. Wish I had an exact date for you because it is frustrating for all of us.
Hi, Frank.
Hi.
Valerie here.
Hey, Valerie.
Liked what you talked about here tonight. Have a quick question. You just mentioned collar counties, and I know you are the king of the South Side, baby. But what about those northern counties, Lake and McHenry? You got any pulse on the northern counties?
So we have sold some stuff up in Lake. I'm not quite a McHenry County guy. We get scattered properties there. That's out. I'm going to be real honest with you. That's out of my wheelhouse. I mean, everything we got Lake is sold like clockwork. So I really don't have any light to shed on McHenry though, because we're not. We don't. That's not our playground. Sorry about that.
What about Lake then? Give me a pulse on Lake.
Everything we got is selling. We just go in the areas. What we'll do is we'll go in the areas. We look at market time. We look at price points, and then we'll determine if we're going to buy or not. And then normally when I get properties from those areas, they're from seasoned wholesalers, and so they're advising me on whether it's a good buy or not too. So I've got a lot of friends in the underground, so to speak. So when I get a call from those areas, it's normally from an outside source, and they're usually really good deals, and they move quickly.
So basically, then you are purchasing from wholesalers up in those markets. You're not going for the off-market properties yourself.
Not yet. Not yet. Not yet. I have a team I'm working with right now. I've got 5 people that are hitting the stuff. So we haven't made it up to Lake or McHenry. We do now. I would say we have done a couple in Lake on our own. So we're getting some traction in Lake where we're self procuring it. Right, but right now the majority of stuff we get are from wholesalers. Are from guys that we know that we've been dealing with that bring it to us first.
Got it. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Who else? This is your last chance to talk to the king of the South Side. But no, I'm just kidding. But
I have a question.
Sure.
I just wanted to know what were your thoughts around the area around Jackson Park. I've been looking at a 2-flat, and I know that the Obama Library is coming soon, and people are telling me that it's going to be a lot of tourism and Airbnb. So just want to know your thoughts on that area by the Obama Library.
Well, yeah, I mean, so Tiger Woods has got the golf course and Obama's going to have the library. Yeah, I mean, obviously that's going to stimulate the area. I think, you have to be careful not to buy into the hype. And so what you need to do is, the other thing is you need to look at, when you get over to the Jackson Park Highlands area, you need to go block by block. We looked at we're evaluating a vacant land right now to build a multi-unit in that area. But you really have to go block by block in that area. And I don't think, the other thing you need to look at is income. So for it to be bought, like internally, per se, like if so, from the people, the audience within the area, what is the median income that's going to drive the values? I mean, you may be able to, if you're basing it on, what someone from New York or someone from out of state will buy. Maybe they'll pay up more, anticipating that the area is going to go up dramatically. But the just having the library and a golf course in the area is not going to do it. It all depends on the commercial development that will follow, and that will take some time. Do I think an Airbnb is a great idea over there? I think it's a phenomenal idea. And, Airbnbs are taking off on like in the Bronzeville area. And, actually, it's funny. I talked to a friend today that has an Airbnb, and they said the crazy thing is the hourly rate. So they're getting people coming in and like booking the room for 3 hours to hold a meeting, to shoot a video, to have a private conference. So there's a lot of that going on the near south side right now as well. So that is that's something to look at. And I think that area, once the library gets in and the golf course, and you get some commercial rolling, and that will take some time. That the library is not going to be built overnight, and the golf course is not going to be renovated. That'll probably be the fastest thing. And then having the big developers like David Doig, convince commercial to come in. That'll happen. And I think probably you're probably looking at 5 years, a little mid-range 5-year investment time, and I think you could you could see a pretty decent return. If you're coming in expecting your property to double overnight, that's not going to happen. Not based on that, but that's a slow burn, and that will, that definitely is going to take off. So there, I think the convert Stony Island, man, is right there. I mean, that thing could take off with commercial. It could get really fun down there. But but then again, you already have Hyde Park, so and you got a lot of restaurants and activities there too. So a lot of the traffic could end up automatically going to Hyde Park. You got hotels and food there, and it's a really cool setup vibe. It doesn't, so you're going to have that competing with development in the area. But I still think that that's a good long-term investment. Did that answer your question?
Yes, definitely. Thanks.
Okay, awesome. What else? Boys and girls, where we at?
I think there are no further questions, Frank. So I want to thank you very much for your incredible information, input, insight as to what's going to happen in the markets. That was awesome. So thank you very much, Frank, for your time and knowledge.
Oh yeah, sure, my pleasure.
And everyone, so please make sure that you reserve your spot for next week. We have a conference on Sunday, May 30th from 9 to 5 all day. In fact, Frank is going to be there. Gary Davidson is going to be there. So it's going to be an incredible event. We only have, I believe now, 26 spots left. We're going to stream live the event, the conference. So either in person, if you can make it, or online. It's up to you. So it's going to be a very cool event. I look forward to seeing you all there. And then Frank will be there. You're going to be there in the afternoon, right, Frank?
I think so. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah,
Perfect.
I think that's. Yeah, I think it's going to be toward the end of it is when I'll be there. So I will confirm that with them tomorrow.
Perfect. Awesome. So thank you again, Frank. Thank you, everyone who joined, and have a wonderful evening.
Thank you,
guys.
We'll
send the replay first thing in the morning. Thank you, Frank.
Okay, cool. Thanks, man. Take care, guys. Take care, everybody. Thanks for having me.